Susan Boyle became an overnight sensation when she got up on the Britain's Got Talent stage in Series 3, leaving the surprised and previously doubtful judges and audience speechless. Her rendition of I Dreamed a Dream from the Les Misérables blew people away so much that her audition video became the most watched YouTube video in 2009 alone, surpassing the video of President Obama's inauguration several times over. After she won second place in the TV show, her first album, entitled I Dreamed a Dream, had the biggest number of pre-orders in Amazon's history in 2009, and its release achieved worldwide recognition as the fastest-selling debut album of all time. Moreover, her Wikipedia page broke the record for most views in a week with 66 million visits. Although Susan sang in front of the Queen, has released more than 120 gold and platinum albums, and sold over 25 million copies in more than 35 countries, we don't hear about her as much anymore. What is Susan Boyle doing in 2023, roughly a decade and a half after her first success? We will tell you all about her life today. Susan Magdalene Boyle was born on the 1st of April 1961 in Decmont, West Lothian, Scotland, and raised in Blackburn, Lancashire, England. Susan has family ties to Lancashire and County Donegal in Ireland too. Her dad was a World War II vet and a miner who also sang at the Bishop Blaze pub. Her mom Bridget, a shorthand typist, gave birth to Susan at the age of 45. The youngest of 9 siblings, 5 sisters, and 4 brothers. A little known fact is that her mom played the piano at a professional level. Growing up, Susan thought that she had a learning disability as a result of oxygen deprivation at birth. She was bullied as a kid and left school with hardly any qualifications. However, a diagnosis that she was on the autism spectrum came at the age of 52 or 53, meaning that she was misdiagnosed in childhood. In reality, her IQ was above average, and she had Asperger's syndrome, ASD. Well-known vocal coach in the West Lothian area, Fred O'Neill, gave Susan singing lessons for years, starting in 2002. Interestingly, after her Britain's Got Talent audition, he claimed he had over 5,000 emails requesting an interview from New Zealand news reporters alone, blocking the mailing system completely. Susan grew up singing in the church choir and later in Roman Catholic churches and basilicas, and attending pilgrimages. Her first attempt to get on TV was an audition for My Kind of People in 1995. Michael Barrymore toured the country looking for amateur singers and landed at the Olympian Shopping Center in East Kilbride. She performed I Don't Know How to Love Him from the musical Jesus Christ Superstar. But her appearance didn't end well. Michael didn't think her singing was great, so he cracked jokes and made gestures such as pretending to look under her skirt and staging a kiss at the end. Such behavior would no doubt create a storm today. In 1998, Susan gathered all her savings and invested them in recording 3 demo tracks at Heartbeat Studio in Midlothian, namely Killing Me Softly, Cry Me a River, and Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. She sent those wherever she could, including talent competitions on radio and TV stations, as well as to record labels. The first notable success was her demo song, Cry Me a River, landing a spot in the community-aided Music for a Millennium Celebration Sounds of West Lothian album in 1999. Susan Boyle auditioned for the 2009 season of Britain's Got Talent in Glasgow, Scotland as contestant number 43212. She was nervous and almost gave up on auditioning because she thought she was too old. According to her vocal coach, she already skipped her The X Factor audition, convinced they chose winners based on looks. However, this time she was motivated to perform outside the church, appear on TV, and pursue a musical career as a tribute to her mom, who encouraged her to audition for Britain's Got Talent. When she entered the stage, the audience had a cynical attitude according to Judge Amanda Holden, nor were judges expecting much based on her age and appearance. And when she announced the song she would perform, Simon Cowell especially regretted this years later, stating, "I can remember vividly how disgusting I was on the day before you sang." However, her incredible voice blew everyone away, causing them to rise and cheer, a reaction that left her absolutely gobsmacked. After seeing her audition, Elaine Page, whose success Susan stated she wanted to achieve, showed interest in recording a duet with her. Susan went directly to the semifinals and on the 24th of May 2009 sang Memory from the musical Cats, receiving the highest number of audience votes. Unfortunately, despite being a favorite for the victory, she finished in second place behind Diversity, a UK-based dance troupe. Of course she was disappointed, saying a decade later, "Never in my wildest dreams did I think for a second that, more than 10 years on, I'd still be performing and making albums. I thought it was all over on the night of the BGT final." She later said that Simon whispered in her ear that she'd get a record contract regardless of what happens, so quickly shrugging off the disappointment. Susan subsequently performed in 20 out of 24 scheduled concerts on the BGT tour in 2009 after the TV show ended. Despite being new to it, according to the Belfast Telegraph, she exuded a confidence resembling that of a veteran who has been performing for years. She released her debut album, I Dreamed a Dream, on the 23rd of November 2009, which in 2010 made her the first female artist with a top-ranking album in the UK and the US concurrently. And it even ranked number 1 twice in less than 12 months. Notably, Susan was named the world's 7th most influential person in 2010 and reached the 3rd spot the next year as the highest-ranked woman. Her vocal coach was asked to comment on her first album. In his opinion, inspirational and upbeat songs would have been a better choice for Susan's personality. If it were up to him, he would have saved I Dreamed a Dream for possibly her 3rd album. He also said that Wild Horses wasn't a song suited for her voice, and that she sang a tone lower than she naturally would do. Nonetheless, he said Susan performed all songs well and has a great technique. A song Fred would have loved to hear her sing at some points is In His Eyes from Jekyll and Hyde. She released 8 more albums between 2010 and 2019, with the last being 10 on the 31st of May 2019. She then toured the world to promote the album until March 2020, when she decided to self-isolate because her health put her at risk of suffering harsher symptoms because of COVID-19. Fred called Susan a very sensitive kind of woman and was initially anxious about the way she would handle fame. However, he relaxed when he saw how happy she was and noticed that she'd learned to cope with pressure. Susan described her TV experience as suffocating and difficult to come to terms with. Shortly after her runner-up finish, she spent 3 days in the Priory, a private psychiatric London clinic, to rehabilitate from the toll the competition took on her, but refused to acknowledge it afterwards, calling it a nice rest. In 2014, she stated that she can now cope with the pressure because she knows how to control herself better and not get worked up about things anymore. Subsequently, Susan had a noticeable positive change in weight and in 2016 revealed that she lost about 2 stone or over 12 kilograms as she started leading a healthier life. In 2021, people noticed a further improvement in her figure, leading her to reveal that she'd managed to shed over 50 pounds or 22 kilograms in total up to that point. She discussed her life changes on the British breakfast TV talk show Lorraine, also revealing that she'd received a type 2 diabetes diagnosis back in 2012. To beat it, she had to conquer the bane of her life, which is eating sweeties and cakes. She cut off all bad foods, primarily processed sugars, and began to walk and ride a bike more often, which she plans to continue. Moreover, after self-isolating for a year, Susan was vaccinated against COVID in March 2021 and urged her fans to do the same. It's apparent she prioritizes her physical and mental health a lot more after becoming an underdog public persona people look up to. Susan took care of her mother's Persian cat Pebbles until 2016 when it passed away. This was her mom's dying wish and something Susan promised to do. Shortly afterwards, Susan got another cat, but it snuck out of the home at night in 2016. But luckily, the people nearby heard her scream when looking for it and helped her bring the cat home. Susan Boyle attributed her late rise to fame to her promise to stay close to her mom while she lived. Her mom passed away in 2007 at the age of 91, which explains Susan's rapid success in the decade afterwards. She also learned that her friends and family were the primary driving force behind her success, inspiring her to push her limits. Another tragedy would strike in 2015 when her older sister, Bridget Birdie McCaw, passed away at the age of 73 after battling cancer. Susan put her career and her new album release on hold since her sister thought she was getting too big for her boots. She also had a falling out with her brother Gary in 2013, who allegedly requested £50,000 because she reportedly shared over £400,000 with her siblings. They reconciled in 2016 when he helped her during an incident with the Heathrow Airport security guard. The two now have family dinners and speak daily. Funnily enough, she unintentionally attracted public interest because fans joked about Lewis Capaldi being related to her. A day after the 2023 New Year's Eve concert of BBC Scotland's Hogmanay, singer Lewis Capaldi received a social media comment that the father of one of his fans thought he was Susan Boyle. He took the joke well, posting a video acting a tad hurt by the physical comparison. He also joked in the caption, writing, "I dreamed a dream that people stopped telling me I look like women in their 60s. Susan decided not to respond when people contacted. Susan's promoted charities and events such as the Laura McPhee Memorial Fund, Asthma UK Charity, Metro Radio Newcastle England's Cash for Kids campaign, Save the Children UK, and Elvis Presley Charitable Foundation. She also helps people in private. For example, she aided 13-year-old Ashley Easton to collect enough money for life-saving cancer treatment by auctioning one of her dresses on eBay in 2021. In her now less than private personal life, in 2009, Susan admitted to being a virgin and never having been kissed, which seemingly continued until 2014 when media reported that she'd found a boyfriend who was about her age, revealing that he was a doctor from Connecticut she met in Florida during her US tour that year. Although he was a nice guy, and the two planned for him to move to Scotland, the relationship ended at some point. In June 2019, she confirmed her solo relationship status, noting that she's a happy single fish, and no updates about her relationship status have surfaced since. When pressed about it, Susan revealed, "If I had a man friend, it would be purely platonic. I've been on my own too long now to get married." Susan Boyle reportedly made £5 million, approximately $6 million today, in her first year of prominence, and as of 2023, it's speculated that she's earned over £40 million, or about $48 million in her career. She first tried moving out of her old home, paying £300,000, about $361,500 today, for a 5-bedroom house, but later gave it to her niece. Instead, she purchased the semi-detached house next to her Blackburn family home for £111,000 or $133,000 today. She joined the two houses and renovated it from the inside, adorning it with pictures of her parents, noting, "It's best to be grounded and with your roots." She also purposefully redesigned a former bedroom she'd slept in with her sisters Bertie and Kathy in her dressing room. Despite being a millionaire, Susan confessed to living on a £300 to £500 weekly budget that she thinks is plenty. She clarified that she just wants to entertain people and make them happy, and that money doesn't bother her. When asked about other things she splurged on, she said that she'd bought a fur coat and a piano. Furthermore, Susan revealed that her friends and neighbors are protective of her, and that she still does normal things like going out for karaoke nights. She added that she received her provisional driving license only in June 2019, and that she now plans to start driving more often. Susan has been silent about her plans since her 10th career anniversary in 2019 and subsequent tour. Some rumors surfaced that she may go on a Las Vegas season in 2021, but nothing happened. One thing is for sure, she's still signed to Psycho Entertainment and will continue to work for Simon Cowell. She still thinks of him as the biggest inspiration in her career and as the best boss in the world whom she strives to make proud because he inspires her to continue and strive for perfection. She remarked that she willingly slowed down her bigger, global success because of her commitment to living in Scotland. She's incredibly proud to be Scottish and feels that she has everything in Scotland, including the best and kindest people in the world. Due to it being a beautiful country with a real sense of community, while she still enjoys traveling, she thinks that there truly is no place like home. When asked about retirement in mid-2021, Susan replied, "Age is just a number, and I certainly don't feel as if I'm coming up," adding, "If you want something badly enough, you can succeed, regardless of age." She said that she may retire at some point, but is having far too much fun to consider drawing her pension anytime soon. Music critics and journalists continue to compare her to Ella Fitzgerald, who had an excellent voice and a decades-long successful career, despite not being a traditional symbol of beauty. If Ella's success is any indication, Susan Boyle will inspire the audience with her voice for years to come.
Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.